Hi everybody, it's Mark here, and I thought I'd just come on and continue my discussion of books written about the Thoth Tarot. I gave you a rundown in my last video, but since then I have gotten a hold of this book, The Ultimate Guide to the Thoth Tarot, which is saying a lot, and it really isn't. But I am glad I got this book in a trade and didn't really spend any money on it. I wouldn't say it was at the bottom of my list of Thoth Tarot books, but it's certainly below mid. What's frustrating about the book is it's probably got the best setup I've seen in discussing the individual cards, and the worst execution of the best setup. So what I mean by that is you get a full color picture of a card, and for every card there are 10 individual details that they highlight, again in color, and then they comment on what those details mean in the card and in the overall Thoth deck. So to me that's really great. I mean, don't we always want to sort of, look at a card in a new deck we're using and get a bit of a breakdown in terms of what is meant by each of the individual objects or things in the card itself. The problem is they're making stuff up. In some cases, they are sticking to what Crowley and Lady Frida Harris intended by putting these symbols in the card, and at other times they're just going off their own idea of what it would symbolize. Sometimes it's really quite out there. For instance, in the Magician card, there's this winged egg that's in the card over here, and it's detailed, and of course that's a detail that you would really want to know more about. Why is there wings on this egg? And they go on to mention the snitch ball in Harry Potter, which I'm pretty sure there was no Harry Potter back in the 1940s when this deck was created. So those kind of things, they don't come up that often, but often enough for you to think, why is that there? Do you really think that's true? That type of thing. Like in the Six of Cups here, there are these sort of snake-like creatures in each of the cups that are hard to see, but they're intended to be snakes. And so one point of analysis, they talk about the snakes, the sexuality, low instincts, and that type of thing. But on another level, they talk about them as if they're just ribbons, and that as ribbons, they're indicating loosening or tying knots, entanglements of love and lies. So that just seems kind of a stretch. But I do have to say, even when they sort of get it wrong, as far as I'm concerned, they are, just by this breakdown alone, it is forcing me to look at the details in each of the cards. Details I may not have considered myself, and I don't have to accept their interpretation. I can either research the actual meaning, or there's really nothing wrong with coming up with, your own intuitive hit. That's what we do when we read tarot. And when I do use the Thoth deck, I do tend to really stick to the meanings of the cards as I know them, and the keywords on the cards, and the fact that it's a 6, and what that means, and it's cups, and standard symbolism, and I guess the book at least encourages me to just totally go off the rails, and why not make the flying egg the snitch in Harry Potter if that is going to bring you some kind of meaning in the reading that you're currently doing. So I guess my complaint is it's misleading for someone who doesn't know anything about the deck to read this book and feel like these are the meanings. This is exactly what is intended by the artist and the creator. So as long as you go in knowing that that's not really the case, I would bump the book up in terms of at least making you more thoughtful when you're looking at the cards. But one last complaint is, the Thoth deck, they have the decan of the card, the planetary symbols right on the card. So this is Jupiter in Leo for 6 of Wands. And then naturally they would pull that and talk about Jupiter and talk about Leo, which is fine, but they don't talk about the fact that the card gets its meaning because Jupiter is in the Leo decan. In other words, there's no marrying of the two symbols, which is their whole point of being on the card, that the two symbols are working together. And then the next time, so this was Jupiter in Leo, so the previous card was Saturn in Leo for this fifth 5 of Wands, and the Leo meaning is exactly the same paragraph as it is in the 6 of Wands. So how is that supposed to get you to a point where you can make a distinction between the 5 and the 6? It really doesn't help. Good to have overall information about Leo, but I would have liked to have seen these astrological components really connected to the meaning in the card. So that's my overall analysis. Once you've studied Thoth a bit, read some of the really good books, then I would say it's worthwhile getting your hands on this. I wouldn't spend the full amount on it. Just see if it comes across your path in a secondhand store or someone gives it to you or whatever. And it's more to make you aware, like I said, of each of the details in a card. And having, color images in a book is a nice reference as well. And to give you a jumping off point to sort of focus on those details and think about what they may mean for you, even if that's not what they meant for Crowley and Harris. Anyway, that's it for now. I will see you next time. Bye.